Like, men can do these power fantasies where they can beat up a whole bunch of dudes, but have a woman do it and it's unrealistic. Yeah, it's a fucking power fantasy, bro. No shit, it's unrealistic. Superheroes are inherently unrealistic. Comic books are inherently unrealistic. Gary, I thought you were a comic book guy. You know that, right? Do you look at comic books and comic book stories and say, and look for fucking realism? For fuck's sake, I just read a comic book where Deadpool and Wolverine were dealing with, like, skeletal fucking dinosaur things. Like, the fuck? Let's go over some chuddery. If you were here earlier in the streams, I had ChatGPT put together, let's go and bring this up, an anti-woke review here. We'll go over it one more time. This is I literally just said, write an anti-woke review of Captain America 4. Captain America 4, a missed opportunity for real heroism. If you are hoping Captain America 4 would restore the iconic hero to his rightful place as a symbol of traditional American values, you're in for a disappointment. Instead of a return to classic traits of courage, sacrifice, and patriotism, the latest installment in the MCU seems more focused on pushing an agenda than telling a good story. The movie's emphasis on diversity and inclusion takes center stage, but it comes at the expense of the character's legacy. Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, may have noble intentions, but his journey feels more like a calculated political move than an authentic character arc. Rather than having him earn the mantle through his own merits, we're bombarded with overt discussions about race and social justice that feel forced, detracting from the hero's traditional mission of defending liberty. The action sequences, while flashy, lack the heart and grit that once defined America. Gone are the days of Steve Rogers standing tall as a paragon of moral clarity and leadership. Now we're left with a Captain America who's bogged down by forced messages about systematic oppression and identity politics. Where's the escapism and excitement that these films once provided? Even the villains are reduced to being mere caricatures of modern political issues. The filmmakers seem more interested in making a statement than creating compelling, complex antagonists. It's clear the focus has shifted from entertainment to political correctness, leaving the heart of the story hollow. In short, Captain America 4 is yet another casualty of Hollywood's obsession with virtue signaling and woke culture. Instead of delivering the timeless heroism we've come to expect from this beloved franchise, it delivers a lecture on identity and social issues that feels out of place in a movie that should be about action, freedom, and heroism. If you're looking for a film that embodies the spirit of Captain America in its truest form, you might want to skip this one and revisit the classics. This movie may have Captain America in the title, but it's far from the symbol of freedom and strength that fans have loved for decades. And then ChatGPT here. This review would resonate with those who feel that modern Hollywood films are losing sight of the themes that originally made superhero movies so enjoyable, often prioritizing social issues over narrative and character development. So yeah. This is ChatGPT literally just writing an anti-woke review. And you can already see, like, a lot of the guys who write these anti-woke guys, yeah, that's kind of a summation of, like, all their reviews, pretty much. But let's go ahead and look up some more here, because I had serious questions about Nerdrotic. Oh yeah, and we before I get too far, like and subscribe, of course. Let's go ahead and dig up some anti-woke reviews here. Let's see. Oh my god. Whoever this guy is, woke Captain America is 100% fake. Red Trump? No. General Thunderbolt Ross is actually not like Trump at all. Though even if they were going for a Trump thing, there'd be nothing wrong with that because they're allowed. But no, it's not Red Trump. We'll go ahead and dive into Nerdrotic a bit. We'll see how far we get. I'm getting so sick of Nerdrotic, but he is so fucking popular that it's tough to ignore. Mr. Gary, hey, organized chaos, we should talk sometime, and then proceeds to never, ever attempt to directly contact me.
Who deals better with snakes, Indy or Thaddeus Ross?
I will not answer that stupid question.
What you feeling right now, bro?
This
What you
is
feeling?
my-
I know you gotta be
My
ecstatic.
dream and my nightmare all in one.
Yo, well, wake up, baby, because we are in paradise.
My God, Nerdrotic must just love watching these red carpet interviews. This inane shit that I don't watch because I find it kind of boring and dull. And like, he obsesses over it and like, oh God, aren't they being like boring and dull? And it's like, yeah, it's a fucking red carpet interview. It's fluff pieces, bro. Do you not recognize what this stuff is? And let me state for the billionth time, red carpet shit has nothing to do with the quality of the fucking movie. Ever. And Dumb Dumber's right. That was actually a funny comment. I'm not answering that stupid question. I kind of love how Harrison Ford is just like, at the I don't give a fuck stage of his life. I love that. He just says whatever.
It's very important that little brown kids are going to look up and see a brown Captain America, but it's very important that other kids are going to look up and see a brown Captain America.
Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds reasonable.
A few moments later.
When I was a kid, my favorite superhero was Incredible Hulk and Superman. And at no point in time when I was a kid watching Superman, I was like, no, I can't be Superman because he's white.
So, so he's gonna pretend like Anthony Mackie saying that it's important for kids to see a brown Captain America, but also saying that like watching the old characters and saying that he could see himself as those characters are somehow contradictory statements, and they're not. Just because he can envision himself as Incredible Hulk and Superman doesn't mean it's not important to see a brown Captain America. Those things can all be true at the same time, but Gary, of course, is going to play ignorant and not understand nuance and play some sort of clip here because he's hilarious.
Brave New World is a great title for this film, just simply because it's a new beginning. It's a foundation on which Marvel will build the universe on now. And I think not only this character, but all the characters that surround him are new.
Gary, if you don't like these fluff pieces, then don't watch them incessantly as you must do, or you have somebody do it just so you can pull these clips. Just don't. Like, I don't watch this shit. It's boring to me, so I don't watch it. And it's not part of my review because guess what? One thing you haven't even done yet, Gary, is actually mention the fucking movie. You have these clips of actors talk about the movie, and it's like, what's your point? Isn't the point of this video supposed to be giving your opinion on the fucking movie? Who cares about the red carpet shit? Honestly, bro.
Foundation building blocks for us to utilize to move on through the universe.
What the f are you talking about, man?
For me, Captain America represents...
Oh, well, we've already seen this clip. But yeah, he's saying that Captain America will. I mean, I think an argument can be made. It does. It's talking about adamantium being established, and about how the world's at tension. It could have done a better job at it, but yeah, it definitely does establish kind of a different world to be said. And plus, he's selling a movie, guy. He's promoting the fucking movie. What do you expect him to say? Yeah, it's called Brave New World. I don't know why they called it that. It kind of fucking sucks. I don't like this movie. I don't know why I'm out here promoting it. It's his job to promote this shit, bro. The fuck? Like, usually with these actors, it's part of their signing contract that they do this stuff. And yeah, I can get a little cringe, and sometimes it's fun, but usually it's kind of a little cringe and just kind of redundant. And if you don't want to watch it, guess what? You don't fucking have to.
A lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those
And him in Rome promoting the movie and just being based.
representations.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Nerdrotic. No, he's explaining the nuances. The important thing about Captain America is that he's a noble, he's just a noble person, an honorable person, not necessarily an American person. That's all he's saying. And he's saying it to a Roman audience. There's so many points where it's like, it just makes sense to say that, for fuck's sake.
Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. The Captain America sequel without
Captain America has had a lot of problems. Not
Yeah, it just immediately as he starts talking, he's talking about the fucking dog whistle. Captain America movie without Captain America. It's weird. Okay, real quick, out of curiosity. When did Sam Wilson become Captain America in the comic books? Hold on, let me look this up. He's been Captain America in the comic books for a little bit. I'm seeing chat saying 2014. I mean, that sounds probably right. All right, yeah. First appearance as Captain America, December 2014. Yeah. Okay. So he's been Captain America now for just over 10 years. 10 fucking years he's been Captain America. And Gary over here can't even call him Captain America. It's like, no, he's not Captain America. Fuck off, Gary. Fuck off. A decade he's been Captain America in the comic books. A fucking decade. Which, Gary, you would fucking know if you even still read. Mr. Fucking Cassandra Nova is Polaris. Fucking Jesus, dude.
not the least of which is not having Captain America in your Captain America sequel. Captain African American has been the very definition of production hell with multiple issues, including but not limited to.
And now he's going to go into all the production hell rumors that have mostly been debunked. Largely, there was lots of reshoots for the third act to make it a big action third act. And that's it. If you actually fucking watch the movie, like when you see a movie get reshot and recobbled together, it's usually kind of a messy movie. A key example of a movie like that would be Justice League. The original release, theatrical release of Justice League, where you have elements filmed by Zack Snyder and elements filmed by Joss Whedon, and they're kind of cobbled together and they don't quite work. Even Justice League's a better example of that because it's not as bad as it could get. Captain America doesn't work like that. Now, is this Captain America movie great by any means? No, it's got plenty of flaws. I enjoyed it overall, but it is not flawless at all. But as a storyline, the story flows just fine. There's no missing plot threads. Everything makes sense. Everything's cohesive. It does not come off like a movie that has been shot and reshot and cobbled together from missing pieces. It doesn't come off like that. It does come off like there's lots of pieces missing that have been cut. It does come off a bit like that, but it doesn't come off like a cobbled together Frankenstein's monster of a movie at all. But of course, he's going to sell it as that because that's been the grift. And it's also, I bet you he's going to say the $180 or $185 million budget for this movie is a lie. Despite the fact that this 100% looks like that could be the budget. Absolutely looks like that.
Those on-brand Disney Marvel delays moving it from 2 prime summer spots into February, possibly to recapture.
Well, already calling from sources that are sometimes fine, but sometimes questionable. But also, like, all of Marvel's movies got delayed because of the strikes. And the one, they essentially everything got delayed and they decided they're going to put their resources into getting Deadpool and Wolverine out on time, then push everything else back because the strikes. Hollywood was shut down in 2023 for a nice chunk of it because of the strikes. Everything got pushed around. Everything, Gary. I'm sure you'll mention that for nuance because your channel's all about nuance, right?
The magic of Black Panther by putting it in Black History Month. Then they changed the title to Brave New World.
Well, let's be honest. Of course they did. Yeah, they released it in Black History Month because Black Captain America. This is a fucking corporation. They do shit like that, Gary.
From New World Order because Disney.
Yes, because a New World Order is kind of a term that's been taken over by the alt-right. So it kind of makes sense for them to change it. It is. That's just logical. When they said that, when they announced, I was like, yeah, I can see why. New World Order is a kind of questionable term to throw in there.
Marvel is worried that term was co-opted by conspiracy theorists who believe that globalists, bankers, and shadowy organizations are trying to establish a single authoritarian world government. Like, who would believe that?
Yeah, it's just wealthy billionaires. Yeah. It's not. It's yeah. It's Gary. Elon Musk is running the government right now, and he's gutting. He is gutting key government regulatory agencies. A lot of the ones that regulate Tesla or Elon Musk companies, which is interesting. It's an interesting thing. But yeah, he and Trump are gutting the government, and something tells me you're not going to criticize that at all. You that's going to sound all great to you, right?
And of course, there were the well-reported ballooning budgets that were anywhere between $350 million and
Yeah, and none of that was confirmed. None, like I already looked at World of Real because I saw like I think Eric Carter brought up World of Real, so I looked into it, and it's a questionable website at best. Questionable at best. Doesn't seem to be a chud site, but it seems questionable.
$375 million that Disney later lied about and said was $180 million.
Oh, didn't I say that he would say they lied about it? Dude, there's no evidence they lied about it. In fact, when you're reporting budgets for tax purposes, it actually makes sense to blow them up a bit, not to reduce them. It's a tax thing, Gary. Do you think Disney is going to take a loss in any way for this movie by underreporting the budget? I guarantee you they aren't. They aren't.
Which was actually the price of the reshoots. Now, Disney Marvel
No, Gary, that's just a flat out lie. No, the price tag on the movie was $180 million, not the price tag on the reshoots. That's a flat out lie, Gary. You need to provide some fucking evidence on that one.
would never lie about a budget, except for the time they did with Doctor Strange and the Marvels.
But wait!
When did they lie in the Marvel's budget? So listen, there are reports about the Doctor Strange budget, which again, completely different movie. Still, that movie made almost $1 billion. So it made it no matter what its budget, it made it back. That's a profitable movie. And the Marvels, I need a citation on lying on the budget. The budget on that one was always kind of on the high side, and it underperformed. I don't think anybody is saying that the Marvels wasn't a flop, Gary.
Hey, there's more!
The box office projections have gone from a $95 million domestic opening over the 3-day weekend to a $90 million domestic opening over the 4-day weekend.
Gary, the fuck? You released this after the weekend, right? This came out 3 days ago. So this came out on Monday. So February 17th. All right, so we can go into this real fast. So real quick, Gary, here is the article on the numbers, which honestly is the website that really goes into this probably the best. The numbers published a day before your video. Just sitting there for you to look it up. Weekend projections. Captain America lands with $100 million over 4 days on busy theater. Brave New World is coming in a little ahead of our Friday morning prediction, landing with an $88.5 million over 3 days and projected $100 million over 4 days, according to Disney this morning, with Paddington and Peru also posting better than expected numbers. And all returning films doing brisk business thanks to a combination of holiday weekend and a lack of competition from the Super Bowl. This is easily the best weekend for movie theaters for 2025 so far. So it has overperformed. Captain America: Brave New World worldwide right now is looking at, let's go ahead and bring it up right now, just over 200 million worldwide box office. With a production budget, as they are reporting, 180 million. Because as the reliable number we've gotten from sources. Just saying, Gary, the information was there about this movie overperforming estimates, not under like you're claiming, overperforming estimates. It's right there. You ignored it because it went against your fucking narrative, and you know your fans will parrot what you say and ignore the actual fucking evidence that's out there. Just saying. And I just want to also point out, for this movie review, he has yet to actually go into the movie. We're 2 minutes into this. He has yet to actually talk about what the fucking movie, like, what are his thoughts on the goddamn movie, which is, for most people, the entirety of a movie review. The entirety! For fuck's sake, Gary.
Which is $30 million less than Ant-Man Commie-Mania. And one of the biggest shockers is the corporate critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is 51%. Maybe they were funded by...
Whoa. Aren't you the guys that say the only audience score matters? Aren't you the guys that say only the audience score matters? Yeah, they call it Commie Mania because that's what fucking heel versus babyface called it because of that one joke. Literally just one joke that Hank Pym says over like 2 seconds, and all of a sudden it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Commie Mania. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyways, I hear from the guys like fucking Gary and Critical Drinker that the audience score is the only one that matters because the critic scores, they're all bought off. They're all bought off. They don't matter. So the audience score is the only thing that matters. So let's go ahead and look up Captain America: Brave New World and look at the audience score, which is, according to him, the only one that matters. Whoa, wait a minute. According to this, the audience score is covered up by the stupid ad. The audience score is 80%, Gary. 80%. I thought that was the only one that matters. This is positive. Whoa. Are you again ignoring data because it goes against your fucking narrative? Are you again cherry picking, Gary? I can't believe you would do that, bro. Oh my God. God, this guy is so fucking dishonest. Holy shit. And we haven't even gone to a goddamn review in this goddamn Captain America review.
USAIDs.
Go yourself.
And with all that, this was still a movie you needed to do homework for. The good news is you have to watch The Incredible Hulk again. That's not so bad. The bad news is you don't need to watch any of the actual Captain America movies. The worst news is you have to watch The Eternals, and the most required viewing for this film is the god-awful Falcon and Winter Soldier. The most...
It's kind of funny. Out of those three that he's bringing up, excuse me, by the way, out of those three, probably my least favorite is probably The Incredible Hulk. Which is, I don't know, it's fine. It feels like kind of a big budget version of the TV episode, which I don't know, it's fine. Yeah, I thought Eternals was underrated, and I thought Captain America and Captain America, it's actually, well, 5 of the episodes are Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then one of them is Captain America and Winter Soldier. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't flawless. I definitely had my issues, although I would say it's better than the Brave New World. But yeah, and it's not required. I haven't seen any of those for a couple years now, and I still followed this just fine. Pretty much what you need to know about Eternals was that this giant thing came out, and that's the other thing. These were the guys that were complaining that there was this a fucking celestial that died, and it's just his corpse is out there in the ocean, and nobody's mentioning it. Now a movie finally mentions it, and it's like, oh, we gotta watch the Eternals to understand this. It's like, Gary, you were the guys complaining that they weren't mentioning it before, and now you're complaining that they're mentioning it? They're doing the thing you want, and now you're still complaining. For fuck's sake, bro. Can you find a narrative and stick with it? Or you just gotta constantly shift your outrage for the clicks. We know which one's the truth.
Hateful and divisive piece of content Disney Marvel has ever produced.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the most hateful and divisive content Marvel has produced. Dude, if you were triggered by that series, that is such a fucking self-report. I don't know what else to say. I don't. Like, yeah, it had political issues in it. It wasn't like hardcore or anything. It was still a fucking Disney thing. You know, but like it didn't ignore political issues. Honestly, the new movie ignores them a lot more than Falcon and Winter Soldier. But like, you know, I would say that's one of the strengths to actually like acknowledge that. It's like good for them, even though it doesn't do it that much. And if you're offended by them just addressing just everyday political issues like cops being racist or people just being racist in general, which, Gary, if you don't see racism, look in the fucking mirror because you've already done several dog whistles this video. racism exists and addressing it is honestly something that a black Captain America should do, because Captain America has never shied away from doing political commentary. Kind of until this movie, unfortunately.
So to save our collective time and sanity, it could be best summed up with a few clips.
We need new heroes, ones suited for the times we're in.
Mr. Wilson, but we cannot approve you. I'm truly sorry.
I'm giving him shit. We just talk.
Hey, look, this guy bothering
No,
you?
he's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
Oh, God. I am so sorry, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, the cops are being racist dickheads to him because he was black. Because cops sometimes do that, because there are racist cops that exist.
I didn't recognize you without the car.
Are we going to get to a movie review? Holy shit.
Message!
Please, you buy into all that stars and stripes bullshit.
Those stars and stripes don't mean nothing good to me.
My world doesn't matter to America.
Message!
That shield is a monument to a bygone era. A reminder of all the people history just left out. You of all people bought into that bullshit?
You're becoming a bit of a legend. Every day more people love you.
I didn't think there could be another Captain America until I met you. People are lost. They need a leader who looks like.
How much time is he going to burn on this? Because we've been on it for almost a minute. How much longer you got to burn time on this? And of course, he'll do the clip, you gotta do better. So he burns 2 minutes on this video on just doing clip shows of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which you don't need to watch this. You don't need. The only thing you need to know is that at the end of Endgame, Steve handed Sam the shield. He wasn't sure if it was comfortable, and all but Falcon and Winter Soldier was about Sam getting comfortable with the shield and calling himself Captain America. And that's what you need to know going into this movie.
This situation is.
You know what? You're right.
You've got to do better, Senator.
Well, I have to apologize in advance because it seems like we say this a lot with Disney Marvel films lately, with a couple of rare exceptions, but my expectations were low, but holy f*** with Captain America Brave New World, it seemed from the corporate critics and some critics that I actually liked that the general consensus was that it was mid at best. But I have to respectfully, and with most critics, disrespectfully disagree. Every bit of trouble this film has had shows through on the screen. I think it can be best described as...
Oh, wow, you're giving it a negative review like all the other grifters. What a shock. What a shock, Gary. That is shocking. Is it interesting how these guys always agree on, like, everything? Like, everything's always in perfect agreement with these guys. It's kind of fucking wild and bizarre. Like, usually, like, you get a group of guys together, even if they're guys that are friends, they're going to have some disagreements between them. There's not going to be 100% agreement between all of them at all. I mean, even on a Fandom Initiative. I know Dane liked fucking Acolyte probably less than anybody else on the stream, and I think probably Eric liked it most. But like, we all had variants of opinion, but somehow all these anti-woke grifter dipshits are always in lockstep. Oh, this is the worst fucking movie ever, and they're always in perfect fucking lockstep. Isn't that fucking weird? Almost like it's a fucking grift.
Disney Marvel making a post-Snyder pre-gun DC movie.
I come to set every day.
Again, what does this clip have to do with anything, bro?
Put a smile on my face. Because we're
You know, even if you dislike the movie, it's possible for them to enjoy making a movie, even if you dislike it. You know, that is a possibility, bro.
making Captain America.
No, you're not.
And here I...
Again, with the racist fucking dog whistle. Yes, Sam Wilson is Captain America, and Anthony Mackie is playing Sam Wilson, so therefore Anthony Mackie is playing Captain America. Gary, fucking cope with that fact, okay? Fucking deal with it.
I am being a sweet summer child again because I thought this would be better because it's got a pretty good cast. The good news is it's not 2.5 hours long and it's not woke. The bad news is it feels 2.5 hours long. It has a series of events that might masquerade as a plot, but it ends up being a boring, convoluted mess. You know, I feel stupid for doing so much prep for this because this film has nothing to it. So don't worry about any spoilers because you saw everything in the trailers.
over with. I got shit to do today.
The film opens with Sam Wilson and Joaquin Torres intercepting an illegal sale of adamantium. Yes.
What is it with him and Critical Drinker digging up these fucking cam footage? Can you do a review about digging up cam footage? Is it that tough?
You heard that right.
I mean, I could see maybe occasionally needing to dig up shit like that, but like, not for this movie.
They are able to retrieve it from Giancarlo Esposito in one of his 3 scenes in the film, and he is playing.
Yes, he is not that major of a character. True. Good job, Gary. Not all characters are of the same relevance as other characters. Good work, Gary. Well done.
Playing Sidewinder, and he just looks a little bit different than the version in the comics.
They changed the character just a little bit.
General Thaddeus.
Okay, so they changed his look. So let's go ahead and apologize to all those giant Sidewinder fan groups that are going to be disappointed by this new version of the character. Because I know there's lots of Sidewinders fans out there that are just like, oh God, they destroyed my beloved Sidewinder. Seriously, Gary, seriously. Come on, man. I bet you he didn't even, he probably had to look up what Sidewinder looked like. Mr. fucking Cassandra Nova looks like Polaris to him.
Who's this, Gary? Yeah, so who is this person anyway?
I'm gonna guess Polaris. I have no fucking idea.
My chat was saying it's like Veronica something. I forgot her name entirely.
She's got telekinesis. That's all I know.
Yes.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on chat as well. What have we got, guys? Fill us in. Who is this girl, Professor X?
Because I'm not familiar with Sidewinder from the comic books. I'm way more familiar with Batroc the Leaper from fucking Winter Soldier than Sidewinder. I doubt he knows. And that's a wild thing. I used to think Gary was like this comic book expert. And like over time, I've been like, I bet you, I don't even consider myself comic book expert. I think I could probably bury him in comic book trivia. I'll go ahead and say it. I think I could bury Gary quite easily.
Ross, played by Harrison Ford, recast from William Hurt practically before his body got cold, and he invites Sam.
Well, yes, they were putting this movie together, and this movie kind of feels like a concluding chapter for Thunderbolt Ross, and William Hurt unfortunately died before he could do it. So they cast Harrison Ford. Yes, that's a thing. As we know, Marvel has never ever recast a character before, so it's shocking, I know.
Sam to the White House after this successful mission, and Sam decides to bring along Joaquin Torres and Isaiah Bradley. And you might be asking yourself, who in the hell are Joaquin Torres and Isaiah Bradley? Well,
this movie establishes, you don't even have to watch Falcon the Winter Soldier. You can just watch this movie. This movie establishes Joaquin Torres is the new Falcon, and Isaiah Bradley was a dude who was experimented on by the government and has been injected with experimental super soldier serum. In the years between Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, he was a dude that was experimented on by the government with super soldier serum. This is explained in this movie. You don't need to watch anything else to know that.
you wouldn't know if you haven't watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, you would. They go over that specifically in this movie. Were you just not watching, Gary? Again, did this guy watch did these guys actually watch the movie, or did they just pull up ChatGPT and just go off vibes based off that? Because a lot of these guys are just getting just basic fucking facts about this movie fucking wrong. They 100% go over Isaiah Bradley's backstory. They don't spend a lot of time on it, but they go over it for sure.
Or you might not remember, considering that the show came out almost 4 years ago. Isaiah Bradley is essentially the Tuskegee experiment Captain America, who was locked away by the American government for 30 years because he was black. And Joaquin Torres is the new Falcon with arguably the worst costume in the MCU. And I know.
I guess it's, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I felt like it could have been more colorful, but it was made up for by the fact that Danny Ramirez did a great job, and he had great chemistry with Anthony Mackie. Listen, all the complaints you can have this movie, the relationship between Falcon and Captain America isn't one of them. That was actually a solid piece of the movie.
No, it's very reminiscent of the one that's in the comics, and that
Yeah, 100% Grand Theft Autobot. He was an attempt to recreate it.
one sucked too. The reason Sam was invited to the White House by Ross was so Captain African American could reform the Avengers and become
Gotta love those dog whistles, Gary. Just spit them out.
the face of a treaty. And this is the biggest takeaway in the entirety of Captain America Brave New World. Hold your hats, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare yourself. Marvel has finally acknowledged the giant celestial in the middle of the ocean, which you all knew from the trailer. Now, Sam Wilson's...
Wait. Did he say what Ross asked him to do? Hold on.
Very reminiscent of the one that's in the comics, and that one sucked too. The reason
I agree, that costume sucks.
Sam was invited to the White House by Ross was so Captain African American could reform the Avengers and become the face of a treaty. And this is the biggest takeaway in the entirety of Captain America Brave New World. Hold your hats, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare yourself. Marvel has finally acknowledged the giant celestial in the middle of the ocean, which you all
Yeah, if he says enough dog whistles, his fans will just suddenly be like, we must be racist. Activate.
knew from the trailer. Now, Sam Wilson's hand-me-down Captain America is the face of a cooperative international treaty where all nations get to share in the adamantium. And it's cute that President Harrison Ford wants to get this one thing done within his first 100 days. Trump would have made Tiamat the 51st state within his first 100 hours.
So Gary, you gotta suck Trump's dick right now. Is that what we're doing? Trump is an incompetent idiot, Gary. Incompetent fucking idiot. He goes out there, he says whatever will get his fans excited, and let's face it, his fans have gone pretty fucking racist. And you also know that that's your fan base, so you know you're playing to MAGA crowd, Gary. And he's kind of just letting the Heritage Foundation write policy for him and letting Elon Musk just do whatever the fuck he wants with the government, while he just gets to act like fucking president dipshit. Being like, oh, I can't fix the economy right now. And, that was his big thing. Remember, like, all the fucking MAGA dipshits arguing, oh, we need to elect Trump so we can bring down the price of eggs. And what has happened to the price of eggs since he got into office? I'm not even counting the time since he got elected. Just since he got into office. They've gone up almost a fucking $1. Fucking lying piece of shit. And we knew he was a lying piece of shit, but he still got the votes. I feel like with the whole Trump thing, like I'm like me and I'm sure a lot of the audience in here, we're guys on the fucking Titanic and we're on that ship and we're like, hey, there's a fucking iceberg. There's a fucking iceberg. You need to turn. You need to turn now. There's a fucking iceberg, and we're just screaming it. It's getting closer and closer. And we're like, you need to turn. You need to turn. There's a fucking iceberg. And now we're at the point where we've hit the fucking iceberg, fucking sinking, and it's like, I don't know what to do other than be like, I fucking told you so. Like, we knew this was to happen, and now it's fucking happening. And
hours. Anyway, a song starts playing and it turns 4 people into Manchurian candidates, including Isaiah Bradley, and they try to assassinate President Ross, which you also saw in the trailer, which was later.
Yes. Listen. I guess you're trying to argue that that's somehow some sort of reveal. I think putting anything from Act 1 is fair game in a trailer. And that is the Act 1 twist. So I think that's fair game in a trailer. I think trailers should avoid doing anything outside of Act 1, but I think Act 1 is 100% fair game. I do not object to them putting in there because, that gives you like kind of the basic bare bones of the story right there, just knowing that.
They're taken out of the trailer when a real Manchurian candidate tried to assassinate a real presidential candidate, Captain Anti-American.
Yeah, there's been lots of presidential assassination attempts in real life. That is That is a thing that happens, Gary, in case you're wondering.
Is fired and Isaiah Bradley is locked up once again. Sam Wilson's Captain Un-American and Joaquin Torres' El Halcón
Did he just call him Captain Un-American? I don't feel like rewinding it. I'm sure he did.
Are now hunting for clues for who's behind the mystery of the mind control. Something you think they would reveal towards the end of the film, and no, we find out right away. It's Tim.
I don't know why you'd think towards the end. I think they would establish the villain fairly early, and honestly, like you don't like they haven't really we haven't seen any of the actual villain until this point, honestly, and they do need to establish him early because they can't just pull him out in Act 3 because that will feel super forced.
Blake Nelson, Samuel Stearns, last seen in 2008's The Incredible Hulk. And if you're waiting for that big reveal of what he would look like as the leader, well, he doesn't look like the classic version or even the updated version. He looks like what Chris Gore best describes as broccoli.
What the?
Okay, Gary. I'll give you this. I agree. I do not look the new look of the leader.
The hell is even that?
And apparently the creators of Captain America Brave New World had no interest in having the audience engage in the story in any way by giving us the leader's entire motivation in successive exposition dumps, for which there are many, in the middle of the film. Now the 5s and 10s of people in the theater will have time to check their phones, and they're really playing to.
Okay, so like once it's revealed, it then becomes an issue of stopping his plan, because the point is he's already put his plan in motion. It's classic comic book, even James Bond shit. His plan's in motion. They don't have a way to stop it.
To the lowest common denominator. Unfortunately, that's the creators of Captain America Brave New World. Turns out the leader is mad that Ross used him.
So, this is probably just because it's in my memory. Columbo, classic detective show. What that show does differently than most detective shows is it begins and it shows you the murderer doing the murder. Why is it telling the audience this? Because the story is not about what the audience knows. The story is asking the audience, how will Columbo figure it out?
I said, suppose it was you. I'm not saying it was you, sir. No, I was just thinking out loud.
You know you're an audacious fellow.
You see, I have a theory, and I would like to use you as an example, if you don't mind.
Oh, please, use me as your example.
And now, I'm not, I'm sure there's dud Columbos, but I'm not like saying this is the same type of thing, but it's a similar idea. The idea being the leaders put his planning concept. How is Captain America going to stop it? Because there's different ways to tell stories, Gary. And I'm not even saying Captain America Brave New World is like bold, audacious storytelling. It's not. But like you're acting like there's one cliche way to do every story, and there fucking isn't.
To gain power, and when he was promised a pardon, he didn't get it. So what's he want to do? Does he want to kill him? Does he want to take over the world? No, he wants to ruin Ross's career. First by engineering.
Yes, he doesn't want him to be known. He doesn't want to martyr him or anything. That's why the assassination attempt was a failure. That was part of his plan as well.
What turned out to be a fake assassination attempt, and then engineering a war with Japan. Nani? Japan believes that the U.S., ordered by President Ross, stole their adamantium only so the U.S. could give it back to them, and it creates an international incident. Now Sam and Joaquin are able to escape the leader with the help of their...
Well, the assumption at that point would be that they stole it, but like because they were discovered, they gave it back. You're cutting out key elements, Gary.
Our teeny tiny friend Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm sorry, Ruth Bat Seraph. Now I did say...
Oh my God. This is so bad.
The film wasn't woke in this sense of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but it definitely has its MCU element, and it's Ruth Bat Seraph, who in the comics is a mutant superhero named Sabra, who is an agent of the Mossad, essentially Captain Israel. But for some strange reason...
Yeah, pretty fucking cringe, I agree. Is that your point, Gary? Because I agree, that's cringe.
they've changed her character in the MCU, and now she's the security advisor for Ross and a former Black Widow. Now back to the war with Japan that the leader instigated. Now let's not get bogged down with the details in our world anyway, that the Japanese Air Defense Force has about 60,000 people with 714 craft, and our Air Force has over 600,000 people, half of which are active duty, and 5,000 aircraft, 32% of which are fighters. But it's pretend.
Wow. It's almost like Japan wouldn't want to start a war with us, but might be getting set up so they feel like they're being pushed into one. Isn't that weird? It's almost like these two countries don't want to go to war, but like they feel like they're getting pushed into it. Did you watch the fucking movie, Gary? Did you watch it? Because they are actually going out of their way to not go to fight each other, even though there's elements where it's like, man, you launched some fucking aircraft against us. Even though they technically did. It looks like they did. For fuck's sake.
So we'll let it go. It just seems that Japan is such an odd choice when the obvious one will be China.
Oh my God. Fucking you and Critical Drinker alike. The whole point is that they don't want to go to war. Okay? Let's. Yeah. Just like Critical Drinker. Oh, they don't want to do it. No, Japan's the choice because they don't want to go to war. They give each other benefit of the doubt a lot, but they're getting this conflicting information where it looks fucking sus. Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
To be fair, this is Disney, a company that thanked a concentration camp in China, and they...
Nice, yeah. Whoa, I never thought... Has Gary ever mentioned that before? Has Gary ever mentioned the end credits of Mulan live action before? I don't know if this might be a first, guys. Holy shit. Just any excuse to trot that out. Holy shit. Fuck.
They want to continue pandering to them, then it makes more sense. This big action set piece set around the celestial Tiamat turns out to be a CG slogfest minor skirmish. Again, the leader's entire motive.
Yeah, essentially, we have two countries preparing to fight each other, and Captain America and Falcon out there trying to stop the missiles so they don't attack each other. Did you watch it, Gary? Did you watch it? Because it makes a lot of sense when you're actually watching it. And this is what frustrates me. It's not even like this is like a great movie. There are fucking criticisms of the movie, and somehow Gary is missing all of them. How do you talk about a movie for this long and miss all of the legit criticisms? It's like a talent these guys have.
Motivation for this is not to obtain power or get adamantium. It's to make President Ross turn into the Red Hulk so he'll look bad.
Yes, this is a leader who had been experimented on by Ross, getting revenge against Ross. That is the driving point of the villain. Did you watch the fucking movie?
I knew he got big. I knew he got mean. I knew he got red. That's all I needed to know.
And that doesn't happen until the end of the film during the press conference.
I'm sorry, Harrison Ford's awesome.
Which you've all seen in the trailers, and Sam and the Red Hulk have their big final battle amongst the cherry blossoms. I wish I was kidding. And Captain African American defeats the Red Hulk by knocking him out with a vibranium wing and talking him down. In a scene that makes Black Widow talking the Hulk down look Shakespearean. And that's...
It's pretty much the same idea, Gary. It's the same idea.
That's where the film ends, and it has all the bad things. It's anticlimactic, it's contrived, it's bloated, it's filled with exposition. The CGI looks like dog shit, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
I don't recall the CGI looking particularly bad at all. It looked fine, as I recall.
But there are parts of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier that I like better, including Zemo and Josh.
Oh, I would absolutely argue that Falcon and Winter Soldier was better overall. I would absolutely argue that, mainly because Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't afraid to occasionally take a political angle, whereas Brave New World seems almost afraid to do that. I would argue, yes, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is overall a better show than Brave New World is a movie. So what? What's your point? Because I guess your point is that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the worst thing ever, which it isn't. It's a totally decent show.
Walker, who did nothing wrong. Captain America.
John Walker, who did nothing wrong. He decapitated dude with the fucking Captain America shield, bro. Did you watch the show? He had the dude down and he decapitated him. Enraged. Not a good look.
America break.
Yes, Hulks can get talked down. This is something that's been established in the MCU. So, like them acting outraged over Red Hulk getting talked down, Hulks get talked down. They do.
Dave New had none of that, and it doesn't help that Disney Marvel once again cast a director based on his identity rather than hiring him for his ability to be.
What? Are you saying he got hired just because he's a black man? Is that your argument, Gary? To be honest, like I don't really have an issue with the direction of this movie. I honestly think there was there was more meat to this story that was cut off, which is why honestly I'd like a director's cut or a even an extended cut. I don't think we'll ever get that, but I feel like there's definitely more political angles explored in this movie, and I would like to see those explored. I really would.
To be fair to Julius Ona, I doubt this is his final.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto Bot. You're 100% right. I guarantee you, he loved seeing somebody get fucking murdered with that shield, because these guys simp over John Walker. It's like, how do you not understand that character at all?
Version, which I've heard from people within Marvel, is worse. I'm guessing all the politics were cut out, and I would believe that considering that the first film Julius directed was called... Oh, feel free to look it up.
Gary, are you under the impression that the theatrical cut is a director's cut? Because you're talking like it is, and it's not. In case you're wondering, usually the first cut is a director's cut. And sometimes the director's cut, the producer will look at the director's cut and say, yeah, that works. Let's get it out there. Sometimes that'll happen, but usually not. Usually the producer will do additional cuts. That is called the producer's cut. And another term for the producer's cut typically is the theatrical cut. Typically, theatrical cut is a producer's cut, not the director's cut. Gary, if you cared to educate your audience at all, you could tell them that simple fact. But instead, you're acting like the director had final cut, which on a big studio project like this, no, he absolutely did not.
For yourself on IMDb. And an argument could be made that this is as bad as the Marvels and the Eternals. Some of you fine folks may.
Well, I liked Eternals more than this, but then I thought Eternals was very underrated. I would definitely put Brave New World over Marvels. I was not thrilled with Marvels. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's meh. And I thought Brave New World was solid, if albeit underwhelming.
I disagree, and that's okay, but please hear me out. The fact is, Captain Death to America had a lot more going for it than the Marvel.
Captain Death to America? The fuck, Gary? How many little dog whistles you want to squeeze into the title, bro?
Specifically, the cast. Anthony Mackie is a...
I mean, you're right, Gabriel. I'm not thrilled with the Marvels. It has its moments. I love, one of the elements I loved about the Marvels was, the character interactions between the three women. Three women hold up two fingers. Between the three women. I thought they had great chemistry. I wish they'd explored that more. Because I thought their exchanges were really good. I thought that was, the really good stuff, and I just wish there was more of it. Oh, yeah, Grand Theft Auto Bot Chuds love fucking John Walker. It's utterly bizarre. It's like, dude, he's an antagonist. What the fuck?
Good actor, and everyone loved him as Falcon, but he's
while we watch the end of this, I'll go throw up a poll. Because I have a question, because watching this, I'm not 100% sure, so I will let you guys answer. Did Gary actually watch Captain America 4? Because here's the deal. This was the most, for being as long as it is, this is the most surface level fucking review I've seen. Possibly possibly with the exception being Critical Drinker or fucking Disparu. It's like, you aren't really getting into it. You're saying lots of things that flat out aren't true, which is very questionable. It's really interesting how many little facts these guys get wrong. It's like, are they actually watching it? Or are they just, hear it talking to their friends? Or are they and just getting a general vibe of the movie? Because it is weird how often these guys will do reviews and they all sync up so fucking well. So fucking well. And it's like, come on. Everybody has different takes. Like, there might be, like, broadly, like, a consensus, but, like, for the most part, people will have different nuanced takes, but somehow, like, all these guys sync up so fucking well.
Terrible Captain America, which has now been proven to be a failure, not only in the comics, but in the films. Danny Ramirez.
Yes. Sam Wilson being Captain America for the past 11, well, I guess over 10 years. It's not quite 11 years yet. They did it for 10 years because it's a failure, and they feel like driving it into the ground. Because they just love their fucking failures. Is that your argument, Gary? That Marvel's company just loves their failures, and that's why they keep on going with Sam Wilson, Captain America? Is that your argument? Because if your fans actually believe it, then I gotta talk to you Gary fans. Because Gary fans, I have a bridge I seriously need to sell you. It's a great bridge. It's got great suspension. It will hold up anything you need. And I'll sell it to you for a reasonable price. Just make sure to email me, and I'll give you a good price, and you can pick it up and buy it. It's totally legit. It's a beautiful bridge.
His Falcon, despite that horrible costume, had some potential to be comic relief. Unfortunately, there was no...
I mean, I would argue he's a lighter character. I won't call him comic relief at all. And he doesn't need to be, because him and Captain America have great chemistry already. I believe them as partners. So, what are you saying? He needs to be a goofball, like just flat out comic relief character? Because no, their chemistry is a strength of the movie. Don't change that.
no comedy or relief. Carl Brumley, who is a great actor.
Yeah, because it's not meant to be like, there's cute moments between them, but it's not meant to be a hilarious, funny movie. Like, dude, when you watch Winter Soldier or Civil War, did you look at Sam Wilson and think he's the comic relief? Like, the fuck?
Actor playing the slightly less bitter in the beginning anyway, Isaiah Bradley does his best, but it's just not enough. This brings us...
Well, I think he does a good job, absolutely. But, yeah, I would love it if they explored his character more. I would absolutely love it.
To Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm sorry, Ruth
Bader Ginsburg? Like, the fuck? What, just because their names are Ruth? Like, the fuck, Gary?
Fat Sarah.
Because they're small women and their names are Ruth, therefore Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Dude, aren't you the comic book guy? Like, the fuck? Like, why are you keep on throwing Ruth Bader Ginsburg into Ruth Bat Sarah? Seraph, whatever, I don't care. I wasn't thrilled with her character at all. I don't think she's a great actress. I hate saying that, but I really don't think she did a great job. It's not a major character at all, but she didn't thrill me. And I think including a character from Israel that they firmly established is from Israel, and ignoring the clear political implications of that, which this movie absolutely does, it's a bit cowardly in my opinion. A bit cowardly. But it is what it is.
And what she does in Captain Un-American is what MCU heroes do. Beat the crap out of dudes, in this case, 3 times.
Okay. Again, like, I just threw at you legit complaints that could be made at her character. And you're doing the same complaint that, like, all these fucking dipshit chuds are doing, which is, she's so tiny and she's beating up people. She's a fucking Black Widow assassin, bro. It's firmly established she's a former Black Widow assassin. So her having the ability to beat up a whole bunch of guys makes fucking sense. in the logic of the MCU that has been previously established.
Times her size. I had a lot of jokes lined up for this character until I found out actress Shira Haas got cancer as a child and it stunted her growth. So props.
Oh, but you still made fun of her. You still made fun of her a bit. So classy, Gary, classy.
To her for surviving and overcoming it and cancer. Still.
Yes, Critical Drinker does have a woman beat up a man in his shitty movie. But somehow when he does it, it's not woke. But when other movies do it, it is woke. Sure.
Why not just make her a mutant like you did in the comic books? You've already done it with Miss Marvel. She's fine as a security advisor. I just have a hard time believing that she's regularly beating the crap out of 250-pound dudes.
I don't believe she is regularly beating up 250-pound dudes. But just because she's not doing it regularly doesn't mean she doesn't have the capability to do it. Again, she's a former Black Widow, bro. It's been established that Black Widows are pretty badass fighters, and the whole thing is that they're supposed to be underestimated. Gary. Well, listen, I will tell you this: the only reason why it's cool and Scarlett Johansson does it is she did it before the anti-woke grift really took over. Iron Man 2 comes out today. These guys are blazing her, being like, "How can Scarlett Johansson beat up all these men? This is unrealistic." It'd be the exact same thing.
With no powers when she looks like she needs a permission slip from her parents to be there.
Gary, you just said you didn't want to make fun of her for her size because she had cancer as a child, which is true. And then you made fun of her for her size. I love how you guys talk out both sides of your mouth. It's so fucking sleazy.
Cast her as the Wasp. Think of the money you would save on effects. Giancarlo Esposito is...
Bro, you just said you didn't want to do that because she had cancer as a child, and then you just fucking throw some in there. Dude, this guy's disgusting, man.
Is always great playing.
Exactly. Like, men can do these power fantasies where they can beat up a whole bunch of dudes, but have a woman do it and it's unrealistic. Yeah, it's a fucking power fantasy, bro. No shit, it's unrealistic. Superheroes are inherently unrealistic. Comic books are inherently unrealistic. Like, this is, like, Gary, I thought you were a comic book guy. You know that, right? Do you look at comic books and comic book stories and look for fucking realism? For fuck's sake, I just read a comic book where Deadpool and Wolverine were dealing with, like, skeletal fucking dinosaur things. Like, the fuck?
Giancarlo Esposito, except in this. Yes, he was cast in the 11th hour, but again, he's only in 3 scenes. The one thing I was actually looking forward to seeing was Tim Blake Nelson as the leader, and if anyone could connect an audience with the piece of broccoli, it would have been him. Too bad it just came off as a monologuing piece of broccoli. And we round out the cast with one of the greatest actors of our generation who completely mailed it in, Harrison Ford.
Okay, so again, many complaints can be made of this movie. Not really of Harrison Ford performance. He actually does a really solid job in this movie. Like, I do appreciate how, like, you know, on shit like this, he'll just say whatever. I kind of love that about him. But, like, he does a good performance in the movie. He's not playing Harrison Ford. He's doing a Thaddeus Ross, and I appreciate it. Like, Harrison Ford's done some really good performances recently. And maybe he is phoning it in. Maybe he's just gotten so used to acting that he's capable of just doing a good performance and essentially phoning it in. But it's a good job. I have no complaints about Harrison Ford's performance at all. And if anybody actually watched the movie, they would largely agree.
What did you know about the multiverse before you signed up for this movie?
In an interview with Vulture, a technical...
I love fucking Harrison Ford. Yeah, fucking multiverse? Dude, I signed up to do a comic book movie. What the fuck? I don't know. I turned into a big red guy. What the fuck? I mean, while this is loading, I would say I didn't really empathize with Ross either. Maybe a little bit towards the end, but yeah, I didn't really empathize with him. He was a dick. He's the one who experimented with Leader. Is this gonna load? He's the one who experimented with Leader. He made the whole situation. Even when the assassination attempt is done against him, it's done because of the shit he did. So yeah, I didn't empathize with him at all. You know, and I do think that's something that could have also been fleshed out with an expanded cut. Like I said, I feel like there's lots of stuff left on the cutting room floor of this movie. The movie is cohesive and it works and it functions and it's entertaining enough. But I feel like there's lots of left on the cutting room floor to kind of defang what this movie could have been. It could have been great, honestly. Yeah, I've seen no obvious evidence that he's seen it. A lot of the stuff he said is just kind of generic stuff you can pick up from trailers or word of mouth. I've not seen any again, like a lot of these guys' criticisms, it's so bad. It's like there are legit criticisms here, and somehow these guys miss all of them to just do like the groupthink, like anti-woke grifter shit. And yeah, I really think it's starting to show. These guys don't even have to watch the movies to do this. Pull up some fucking Chat GPT.
A crew member who worked on the reshoots said this. Harrison Ford was one of the crankiest performers.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I thought we were playing through.
What did you know about the multiverse before you signed up for this movie?
In an interview with Vulture, a technical crew member who worked on the reshoots said this. Harrison Ford was one of the crankiest performers I've dealt with, which was sad because I'm a fan, but he was very much a diva. Listen.
Well, that's unfortunate. Again, how does that relate to the quality of the movie? Joss Whedon, famously, incredibly difficult to work with. Quite the diva. I still like his movies.
Harrison Ford has earned the right to be a diva, but he definitely didn't bring his A game. His president, Thaddeus
Yeah, did you watch the fucking movie, bro?
Ross comes off, like this film, as a parody, and he doesn't even bother to try to play it like the late, great William Hurt, who did a much better job. And unsurprisingly enough, it's
I don't want to compare their performances, but Harrison Ford did a good job. He did a solid job stepping into those shoes.
Sounds like Harrison Ford was as miserable as I was watching his movie.
I don't want to break your bubble. That's what the money is for.
To silence that part of your brain.
Gone.
We had to suit up 80-something Harrison.
Fucking, yeah. Harrison Ford's awesome. I'm sorry. I just love the little fucking, like, dude, I already said I'm not a fan of the behind the scenes stuff because I find it boring, but Harrison Ford's stuff is funny because he just is like, fuck it, I don't care.
Ford with these motion capture dots. Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that. To me, it seemed like he hated it and didn't want to do it. Yeah, no shit. And when Harrison was done, he was done. Everyone was trying to scramble to make him happy. That made for a very awkward work environment. And the scene where Harrison Ford finally has to Hulk out before his 5 minutes as the Red Hulk is cringe-inducing. With this cast alone, Captain African American.
Why is it cringe-inducing? Can you explain? No? You're just gonna move on? Okay.
American should have been better than the Marvels, and it wasn't. And while this is just my
I disagree.
Opinion, there is some proof Captain America Brave New World receives the lowest cinema score ever for an MCU film, below the Eternals, Quantumania, and the Marvels. If you are expecting this film to address any of the MCU's open-ended plots, cameos.
I do think it's interesting how often these guys bring up other people's reviews. When it's like, dude, you're giving your own review. Who cares about other people's reviews? Give your own review.
Or post-credit scenes, don't get your hopes up. Again, cool, they finally addressed the giant celestial in the Indian Ocean, and it only took them 3 years, and it only took them 16 years to bring back the leader. But apparently they didn't feel the need to address the post-credit scene from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the now evil Sharon Carter as the power broker. And there's the little...
Do you think there's no other time to address that? That's the thing. Earlier, you were complaining because they address Eternal stuff. And now, you're complaining that they didn't address everything? Like, before you're complaining that they're addressing too much, now you're complaining that they don't address more. Again, these guys just talk out both sides of their mouth. It's insane.
Little problem of Black Captain America and Mexican Falcon seeing Tiamat for the first time and Sam saying he'd never seen anything like it. So you're telling me Captain America must have just slept through the day Arishem, the giant celestial, showed up to judge humanity? What happened to former President Dermot Mulroney and
Well, I mean, the number one, when it comes to these comic book movies and comic book properties in general, yes, we just kind of have to suspend disbelief and assume that there are certain characters that can be on scene and not all of them can always be there. That's just a thing you gotta go with. Otherwise, otherwise it's just not gonna work for you. But also, I think it's fairly clear to tell, like the whole thing with Tiamat rising up, like it's not like it's supposed to be something that takes place over like months or something. It was just supposed to be something that took place over a couple hours. So you could logically just say no other hero had time to get there except the Eternals. And there you go. Well, I think you might be right. I think ChatGPT did a better job with this than Gary.
and his one-man war against the million Skrulls? That reminds me, what the
Yeah, Secret Invasion kind of sucked. But also, like, this movie begins with the inauguration of Thaddeus Ross. So the whole thing was set up around. So, like, they established the fact that, like, he is a new president. Did you miss that, Gary?
the hell happened to those 1 million Skrulls? And if Sam Wilson missed a Celestial, I'm guessing he probably missed them too. Hell, does Sam Wilson know that Nick Fury's married to a Skrull? Does he know his old buddy Rhodey was a girl Skrull? Maybe we'll find.
So listen, as someone who really disliked the ending of Secret Invasion, this movie isn't about that. Nick Fury isn't even in this movie. Like, it's a again, at the beginning of this video, he's complaining about, oh, they have too much in this movie. They're addressing too many other projects. And now he's complaining that they don't address more projects. How do people, like, follow this guy and defend him religiously? Like, how do you not see how clearly full of shit he is? How clearly he's just pushing outrage. And he doesn't care what angle he pulls it from. This angle, that angle. Are these contradictory? I don't care. We'll just push it.
Find out in 3 to 16 years. I know there is next to nothing in the theaters right now, but do not waste your time watching this film. It's better spent paying taxes, paying parking tickets, getting parking tickets. Maybe set up that long overdue colonoscopy, because that would be time better spent. Moon River. Back to the comparison of Captain African American being a post-Snyder pre-Gun DC movie. That's exactly what it is.
Post-Snyder pre-Gun DC movie. I mean, I'm trying to think, what would those be? What, like Aquaman and Aquaman 2 and Wonder Woman 84 and Flash and Blue Beetle? Blue Beetle's actually pretty good. Aquaman 1 is not great art, but it is cheesy fun. Yeah, I'd definitely say it's a mixed bag of movies there, but okay. Like, I don't know why that would get compared to this even. Because that was like a movie studio without really a clear direction, whereas Marvel still has a direction and they're going forward with it. Even though you guys claim they don't have a direction, the direction wasn't clear until they finally got to the destination, just like in Infinity War. Huh.
It's something that Disney Marvel deeply regretted greenlighting, but were obligated to release, and that
deeply regretted greenlighting, but were obligated to release. Citation. You have a citation on that one, Gary. That is true. These guys were outrageously racist over the Blue Beetle thing. That got attention.
That's exactly how it felt. What I was expecting was just another bad Disney Marvel film. I wasn't expecting one of the worst. And it's all through a catastrophic series of events beginning but not ending with a horrible concept. It's just incompetent producers making
a terrible concept? That we have a president with a very questionable past who has been who has fucked with people, and those people want revenge. And we have a friend of Captain America who has been programmed to attack the president, and now Captain America has to seek his innocence. I'm sorry, at concept level, that sounds fine to me. What the hell? What are you basing that on, Gary?
Competent decisions. Kevin Feige thought it was a good idea to make a sequel to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier by remaking Captain America and the Winter Soldier and calling it a Captain America sequel without Captain America, when in actuality it's a sequel to The Incredible Hulk without the Hulk, along with a bunch of
Marvel and comic books have always done shit like that, though, Gary. I thought you were a comic book fan. I thought you understood that some stories will cross over into other stories. I thought you understood that. Aren't you like this big comic book expert? You are aware that shit like that happens. Like, dude, I wasn't even a huge fan of how this story turned out. But remember Onslaught? And how Onslaught was an X-Men story, and then it ended as a whole universe story, whole Marvel universe story, because it crossed over into other stuff besides X-Men. Because comic books will do shit like that. They've done it forever. I thought you were a comic book fan, Gary. Why am I explaining comic books 101 to you, bro?
awful directing, editing, and writing, and it shouldn't surprise anyone that a bunch of A-list actors just wanted to take a paycheck and get the fuck out as fast as I wanted to get out of the theater after watching this.
Honestly, I don't remember.
But hey, it looks like that Captain America sequel without Captain America in it surpassed the box office projections. Captain America box office.
Whoa, again, at the beginning you were talking about how it's underperforming, and now you're talking about how it overperformed. For fuck's sake, Gary, can you be consistent at all?
This Brave New World opens to a bullish $100 million in the US, $192 million globally. Well done, that's only $20 million behind Ant-Man Quantumania's 4-day opening over the same time period 2 years ago, and $33 million behind its worldwide opening. Looks like you might make that money back for the reshoots. I'm rooting for you. This may be a bitter pill for Disney Marvel to swallow, but Steve Rogers is Captain America. I don't make the rules, I just make the observations. But there is some good news. At the end of the movie, it says Captain America will return, so maybe Steve will come back.
You're not Steve Rogers.
That's an interesting. So I think it's interesting he decided to drop that, because that gives me a clip to play, and then I can wrap up here. But yeah, his whole argument there is that Captain America is not. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Captain America is Steve Rogers and not Sam Wilson. Isn't it funny? I have a clip where he says something not like that at all, where he actually directly addresses me and says something not like that at all. Isn't that wild? Huh. Let's go ahead and pull up this clip here. God, he probably regrets that he said this. He probably regrets that he took the time to directly address me and say shit like this.
Well, hello. I'm here at the request of Rags to respond to Organized Chaos accusations that I am a racist. Now, I did a little research into his channel, and in previous videos, I'm paraphrasing here, he said he wouldn't stoop so low as to call somebody an idiot who disagreed with them, but calling him a racist is okay, especially when it's based.
It's really good that you start off with straw man of me, Gary. Good work. Good work.
On this tweet, Steve Rogers is Captain America and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. This is a factual statement. Steve Rogers is indeed Captain America and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. I put this on Twitter because it brings a lot of morons to the yard who like to project their hate and vitriol on factual statements, and it really just exposes how stupid.
So he does it for clickbait. I love how he just says it. No wonder he doesn't want to talk to me. Just in responding to me, he reveals so fucking much.
Twitter can be. This statement does not say that Sam Wilson isn't a Captain America. It doesn't say John Walker isn't a Captain America, or Isaiah Bradley, who was retconned as the first Captain America, isn't a Captain America. It doesn't say that Bucky Barnes isn't a Captain America. It just says Steve Rogers is Captain America, and the same.
Wow. Wow. So Gary, you right there, you're saying Sam Wilson is Captain America. You're saying Isaiah Bradley is Captain America. I don't even have to debate him. He just responds to my shit and just fucking debunks his own shit. It's ridiculous. Gary is a unique individual, and I still can't believe how people follow him religiously. He is a dipshit, he is a grifter, and he is selling garbage. And the fact that anybody takes it seriously is so frustrating. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, I guess before we get to it, the obvious poll says no. He did not see the movie. And I think there's evidence to suggest he hasn't seen the movie as well. Cause like he didn't go into really too much other than like the really broad points that everybody knows. That's all he went into. He didn't go into details. A couple times he did go into details, and usually he was fucking wrong. And that's really telling right there. So do these guys even watch the movies anymore? Seems like probably not. But you know, we can definitely do some outrage grift on it for sure, and that's what he did here for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I wasn't planning on going over Gary's video, but man, I just found myself on a rant against him, and I think it turned out quite well. Kind of had fun. His videos are frustrating, but I do have fun just tearing into them live with you guys. So thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe. Party on. Be excellent to each other.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.